Hello, Joy Warriors, and welcome back. In this video, we're going to talk about why family really is everything and how family dynamics can sculpt our futures and the power that we have to change these patterns if necessary, or enhance them if it was really amazing. So for those of us who come from families that maybe have been very traumatic or challenging or just off the Richter scale of insanity, we hear these something like that family is everything, and I know my blood has always sort of like, I get all tense. I'm like, well, does that mean I won't have an amazing life if I can't make family my biggest priority? And what I've come to realize is that I can create that for myself. And then those of you that come from families that were really loving and supportive, you can really take the time to enhance and enrich those things to make sure that you're bringing all those values and those things that you got nourished as when you were younger into your future. And I think it's really all about being at choice and consciously choosing the patterns of what we either wanted or didn't want that we learned in our early formative stages. So I think it's pretty much common knowledge now that in the first 5 years of your life, those are the most instrumental and can actually impact you for the rest of your life. So what you've learned in the first 5 years of your life is how you're going to make choices in relationships and work and your body and just as sort of hardwired. So in situations like mine, the first 5 years of my life, I was like shooting guns and stealing and things were going crazy and I was in a really no stability whatsoever and watching really traumatic and abusive things all around me. And that's no way that anybody should be making their choices in life of their relationships or their jobs or their businesses. So because I've really realized that family dynamics are at the core of how you make everything happen and how do you create that sense of family and core decision-making in your now based on the qualities that you really want versus maybe what you didn't get. So what I started to see is I could kind of figure out what I was looking at by what I didn't want. So I was magnetizing relationships that, especially romantically, but also friendships and work relationships, that were qualities that were very similar to my upbringing, that were volatile, that were uncomfortable, that were not very healthy and very damaging to myself and to others. And so when I started to change my life around, what I really did is I took a look at the formula of like, what were the qualities of these core family dynamics that I inherited that were healthy and what were negative. And then even the things that seemed unhealthy, like my father was a cult leader and magnetized people to him and could convince them to do all kinds of things. Now, those were all used in really negative ways, but I have this ability somehow to sort of magnetize people to follow things like the One Mama organization. And now I use that for good. And I'm very cautious about that I do have that gift that I inherited from my father. But can I use it for good? Can I make a choice and be conscious in my choice making and make sure I keep my ego out of that and make sure that it's not harming myself or others? So using these qualities that I gained in a really traumatic situation, but now I can turn them around for good, were just all of the different things, like maybe the parts of being like feeling safe and supported and connected. How do I create those family dynamics that maybe I didn't get when I was younger? So how do I create those for myself by creating friendships, communities, therapeutic situations, so that I'm making these choices based now. And usually how we figure this out is we look at the relationships that really irritate us or that we have resentments at or that are uncomfortable or that we have a hard time with. And then even for my friends who come from families that are really loving and supportive, sometimes they feel smothered with that love or support, or they feel like they can't ever live up to their parents' relationship that was so full of love because they haven't found their love partner. And so they're constantly second-guessing themselves. So how do you find those core things, and then instead of being a victim around them, that you switch it around and you change those things? And really, this is a journey for each of and every one of us. But it's changing the framework that it's okay to look at these things, that it's not that we just want to shove them off to the side, because this is actually where all the root stuff is. Like anything that I love and amazing things that are amazing in my life come from me taking a look at the really sort of ugly parts and the beautiful parts of my upbringing and my family dynamics, and have made me take on and like keep what I think was actually really beautiful, even though it might have been needed to be tweaked a little bit, and then also really let go of the things that are not and replace it with healthier choices and behaviors. So what are the things that you need to do and the magnetizing qualities in relationships that you want? What do you want and what do you want to get rid of that come from your family dynamics? Or are your relationships, are they unhealthy from your past or are they healthy? Figure out what those things are and really sort of look at it from this sort of neutral perspective. And if you're satisfied with them, then figure out how to enhance them. And if you're not satisfied with them, then you need to change them. And you need to change them now. Because no matter what you do in your life, if you're living by these things that are not what your values are, but things that were maybe forced upon you, pushed upon you, or I don't even like those words, but that were ingrained in you, but you wouldn't really do that for your kids, or you wouldn't do that for someone you love, then why would you do that for yourself? So change them now and make sure. So the way that I do this is I made a list of the qualities of what were healthy behaviors or maybe neutral things that I wanted to keep from my family dynamics, and things that were like, no way, I'm never, I wouldn't do that to my kid. I don't want that for myself. I don't want that in a partner. And so those things. And then I take it to my meditation and I ask in that deep breathing place, like in a knowing place, what is it that I need to do to release these things that keep me stuck? And what are the new behaviors and new choices and new values and actions that I need to move from to create that new core family dynamic at my core of knowingness and making choice, so that family is everything. Family at the core of who I am, and these dynamics make me a better person in the world, make me a better mama to the world, and a better friend, a better lover, and just a better person overall. So that is my take on how to really connect with those family dynamics that make at the core of all of our choices. So let me know how things go for you. I know this is a tough topic for some people, and for others might be not really much fun, but just if you can do it and see what happens, and tell me how it goes.